Hello, everybody. I'm John Locke, and I'd like to welcome you to the LockeInYourSuccess.com Trading Performance Podcast, where it's all about real traders, real problems, and real coaching. Listen up and enjoy the segment.
Let's talk about goals first, since these are the primary driver. And when we talk about goals, the question becomes, what is the perfect goal? Well, the perfect goal would represent the ideal that identifies a specific direction and provides the maximum amount of motivation for you. Okay, in order to achieve the goal, or I should say, in order to perform at your best and improve as quickly as possible, you need a maximum amount of motivation, and you need a direction in which to point that motivation. The maximum amount of motivation comes from a couple of things, but one of them is what you truly believe. What is it that you truly believe is the best you could possibly do? Right? So you have a belief as to how much you can accomplish and what you can achieve and what you can do. Right? So what is the best you believe you can do, considering your resources and the amount of effort that you want to or are willing to put into your goal within a specific time frame, where you have direct control over the process and results, right? So if you can hit that optimal point where you have this believability and you have the willingness to put in the effort or the motivation, and you have your time frame and you direct your efforts that way, and you have direct control over the process and results, you can achieve that goal, right? So that would be like almost the perfect goal. The problem with that thought is that 70% of us are capable of far more than we believe we are. Meaning that if I set a goal that is believable for me. Now, the problem is if I set a goal that's not believable for me, I'm not going to be motivated to do it, right? If I set this goal and my belief is there's no way that goal can be accomplished, and then I try to accomplish it, I become unmotivated because I'm doing stuff that I know is never going to make a difference. I'm never going to get there, especially if I have to make that goal, right? So if it's not believable, motivation's low, and it's not good for me. So if I'm capable of far more than I believe I am, in order to set a believable goal, I have to set that goal lower. Meaning I'm setting goals that are far too low. Or I go for the high goal and I'm setting a goal that I really don't believe in. Both of these situations are going to create underperformance. Now, I may be fully capable of doing it, but if I don't believe I'm capable of doing it, it's going to create underperformance. It's going to create a lack of believability, a lack of worthiness, a lack of motivation. So we set goals lower than our actual capability. We set goals that are beyond, we believe are beyond our reach, right? There's a difference between a goal being beyond your reach and a goal that you believe is beyond your reach. And when we have too low of a goal, it creates a lack of motivation, a lack of interest, a lack of enthusiasm. And it's a situation where I become upset with myself no matter what happens. I mean, I become upset with myself if I don't achieve the goal because I know it was a low goal and I should have been able to achieve it. And I didn't. I didn't even reach that pathetic goal that I set. And if I do achieve my pathetic goal, I become upset with myself because, I did this, but realistically, I should have done better. I'm sure we've all achieved something that we set a goal. We pretty much knew we could do it. We achieved the goal. And then it's like, so what? I knew I could do this anyway. I should have done better. None of that's inspiring. On the other hand, if we set the goal higher than what we believe we can achieve, automatically, as soon as we set that goal, we're going to start looking for reasons and evidence that we can't reach the goal because we have the belief that we're not capable of reaching it. And when we do that, that's going to block our resources. It's going to demotivate us or become less motivating. And since we're not motivated and we're blocking our resources, then we are, again, performing well under what we're capable of. So that's like 70% of us. The other 30% of us are in fantasy land. We set these super high goals that we fully believe we're capable of and fully believe are possible, when in actuality, these goals are either far beyond reality or they're goals based on elements that are way outside of our personal control that we would have no control over anyway. Like, setting the goal of winning the lottery. Yeah, you could win the lottery, but whether you win it or not, other than buying a lottery ticket or 1,000 lottery tickets or 10,000 lottery tickets, the chances of you winning that, the results you're going to achieve from that, are luck, and they're well outside your control. Okay. The good part about this scenario is at least the person's motivated. They're inspired. They have this grandiose view, and they actually think that they can do it, and that creates a lot of motivation. Unfortunately, though, it's the same type. When you get the motivation that way, that same motivation turns into desperation, feelings of unworthiness after you've spent $10,000 on lottery tickets this year and you still haven't won. Right? When reality clashes with fantasy, it creates a feeling of unworthiness, creates feelings of desperation. It sometimes leads to reckless behavior. I can't win the lottery with $10,000. I'm going to put $100,000 in the lottery, see if I can win that way, right? Or whatever. That is where that goes. And if you do this too many times, it eventually leads to you giving up because you have repeated disappointments, one after the other, after the other. So that's not great either. The problem here is the generally accepted view of goals as a measure that you must achieve. It's flawed, right? It creates goals that are too low, goals that are not believable to the person, goals that are fantasies, and goals that are outside the person's control of whether they can actually reach it or not. The general accepted definition or view of a goal are that goals are a bar that must be achieved for some significant reason, to be worthy, to be accepted, to be loved, to be whatever, rather than a tool for direction and motivation.
And that is what I have for you today. If you have any questions or comments or anything else you'd like to see in the next Trading Performance podcast, please list that in the comments and I'll personally answer your questions and comments for you. Also, I'd love to encourage you to come on over to LockInYourSuccess.com. That's LOCKE in yoursuccess.com, and check out our Trading Performance and Pro memberships, where you can find the tools you need to become a much more effective trader, regardless of the type of trading you do. Thank you for joining me. I look forward to seeing you on the next Trading Performance podcast.